Welcome back to another exciting episode of the genetic study that we're doing. Today we're talking about meiosis. And guess what? I'm still wearing my DNA shirt because meiosis still has to do with DNA and it still has to do with genes and chromosomes and all those important things. So this is not a typo. This is not mitosis, even though some of the pictures you might say, but Mr. Yoder, they're still cells dividing. This is meiosis. This is a different process. You're going to notice that instead of one cell turning into two cells, we have one cell turning into four cells. So, topic at the top, date in the upper corner. Have a place to put your main ideas and concepts as you record notes on this slide deck. Words that are vocabulary should be highlighted and put a word or a picture or a phrase, but not the definition. You don't need those. Those are in your Quizlet. So here we go. Fasten your seatbelts. So first of all, what is meiosis? Meiosis is a process that makes gametes that are used in sexual reproduction. Eggs and sperm cells are the two different kinds of cells that are made in meiosis. It takes diploid cells and it turns them into something called haploid cells. Just very quickly, diplo means two or double, and haplo means half. So that's why. So you have a cell and it has pairs of chromosomes, doubles of chromosomes. A haploid cell only has single or parts of chromosomes instead of the diploid cells, which are paired. So, sexual reproduction is the process that is started with meiosis. It is a process that produces a zygote to form a new organism. A zygote has nothing to do with the goat, the animal, or a sheep or a horse. It has to do with a cell that is formed during sexual reproduction. Meiosis is the cell division that makes the four haploid gametes. So each time meiosis happens, it takes one of the cells and turns it into four gametes, either four eggs or four sperm cells. So why do we have two processes for our cells dividing, meiosis and mitosis? Well, it's because each one has its own purpose. Mitosis is cell reproduction, makes new cells. Meiosis is for reproductive cells. Again, it makes the egg and the sperm. Mitosis makes new diploid cells. Again, we're talking about diploid and haploid. Meiosis makes haploid cells. They can't actually survive on their own. They need to join together to make, again, diploid cells. Mitosis forms an identical gene pattern in the new cells, and meiosis could get a random pattern. The genes are not necessarily pulled all to the same of the four cells, so some cells might have different information from the others. And finally, mitosis has new cells or new organisms, and its purpose is for repair. Meiosis forms gametes, and its purpose is the sex cells, the egg and the sperm. So again, diploid cells, they're cells that have the paired chromosomes. Haploid cells, they have half or unpaired chromosomes. And you can see the picture here that shows how diploid and haploid cells work and how the DNA and the chromosomes inside of them look. Gametes are the things that are formed, the sex cells, the egg and the sperm that's formed during the process of meiosis. Now, if this doesn't blow your mind, then nothing is going to. We learned about making Punnett squares. Here is the reason a Punnett square works. And I know, right now you're looking at it and go, whoa! But here is the female, the cell of the female. It divides in meiosis. The first division forms two new cells, and each one of those divides into two more cells. There are the four cells that were made in the meiosis process for the female. On the male, here's the cell. It has four genes, four alleles inside of it. During the first part of meiosis, it forms into two. cells, each with 2. And during the second division, each one has 4. So that's why there are 4 boxes in a Punnett square. 4 cells in meiosis, 4 boxes in a Punnett square. Sounds kind of fishy, but that's why it works. And so then that's the random meeting of the different genes in each box. And when 2 genes in one of the boxes actually join together in fertilization, that becomes the zygote that forms the new organism. Now, of course, meiosis and cells, there's a lot more than just one letter T inside of them, but a Punnett square basically just takes one allele and follows through how it gets into each box and how it forms new organisms with that particular trait that you might be talking about. So again, then we get to fertilization. Fertilization is the process of the sperm joining with the egg. That's the thing that makes a new organism, a new living thing. And once the sperm joins with the egg, then we have something called a zygote. And the zygote is the beginning stage when those 2 haploid cells join together. The sperm joins with the egg. That's the beginning then of a new creature and new life. So let's see if I can do this. Meiosis is the process that takes diploid cells and forms them into 4 haploid gametes, egg and sperm, that join together in the process of fertilization to produce a zygote. I think I included most of your vocabulary words all in one sentence there because they are all so joined together in this topic. So go ahead and write a few questions, maybe 3 to 5 questions about what you just learned about meiosis. And then if you understood everything, record I understood everything today. If you still have questions, put down your questions or what it is that you still don't quite understand. Make sure to contact me if there's something that you don't understand so that I can explain it more or better so that you can understand. Have a great day.